Hey guys, Dylan from Noblerecordstore coming at you with another video. A question that I get all the time when people watch my videos is, what is a bootleg? Some of you more seasoned collectors probably already know what that is. But this video is for those who might have never understood what that term meant. You hear it thrown around a lot in the vinyl community. I just wanted to make a video to show you some examples of the different types of bootlegs. When I was in my early 20s, I was kind of a novice collector. I had collected from when I was a kid, but I was just getting into it very seriously at the time. And I was flipping through a bargain bin at a record show, and I found this. Led Zeppelin on tour. I was blown away. I'd never seen it before. I thought I had all my Led Zeppelin albums that I needed, but this was a different album. I couldn't believe it. It was only $2, so I grabbed it, obviously. And it was some live album that I'd never seen before. I took it home, put it on, and even though it was really bad sound quality, I was excited to have it because it was a Led Zeppelin recording that I didn't know existed. As I got deeper into it, I was like doing some research online, and I realized that this was a big thing. There were a lot of these things out there, and I wanted to know more. So basically, to rewind all the way back to the beginning, the word bootleg just means something that is bought, sold, traded illegally. So back in the early 60s, 70s, this was a very illegal, very risky operation. The first instance of anything being bootlegged really was William Shakespeare's. All his stuff, people would sell illegal transcripts and stuff like that until they came out with the whole copywriting system and kind of nipped that in the bud. But as far as music goes, you know, in the 50s, people were bootlegging soundtracks, like film soundtracks and stuff like that. It didn't get real serious until the first bootleg that was one of the more popular bootlegs, and that's this one. This is Bob Dylan, Great White Wonder. These are some incredible recordings of Bob Dylan stuff that was never released previously to this. This is a bootleg that is very popular, but is really, really, really good. I mean, this is one that if you're looking for a bootleg, this is a legendary one that's really a must-have, I think. So this is a great bootleg. It's got I think it has a bunch of different radio performances and stuff like that on it. But that's a great one to have. The original, like, first pressing of it had stamped. It just had GWW for Great White Wonder. And in the bootleg world, they came out with almost a whole new language. Basically, they tried not to get caught, so they would put stuff on the album covers and stuff like that in the earlier pressings to make it to where you wouldn't know it was Bob Dylan unless you knew, you know, unless someone told you. So GWW meant Great White Wonder, and that was Bob Dylan's bootleg nickname. You know, for Led Zeppelin, sometimes they said like the New Yardbirds or something. For Pink Floyd, sometimes they would say the Screaming Abdabs, which was their name before Pink Floyd. And so they had kind of a code going on. As time went on, they got a little bit loose with how they did it, and they did just straight up the band's names. So this is another Bob Dylan one. This is Bob Dylan and the band. This is another example. This is a terrible recording, but this is Bob Dylan Band live in Charlotte, North Carolina. So a lot of bootleggers or bootleg collectors like me will look for bootlegs from the towns that they live in. I live in Charlotte, and so I love this bootleg, even though it's terrible quality. I know exactly where this was recorded, and that's what's kind of fun about collecting bootlegs. You can collect a concert that maybe either you've been to or is in a town that you live in. So that's something I really enjoy doing. I'm going to show you a few more examples. So after Bob Dylan, they came out with that Bob Dylan bootleg. The artists obviously freaking hated this because they weren't getting the money. But the collectors loved it because they were getting material that was never released. So this is another example of bootleg I want to show you. This is Rolling Stones European Tour. Some of the top bands that were bootlegged were Bob Dylan, Rolling Stones, Led Zeppelin, Pink Floyd. Pretty much every band was, but those were the top ones. So a lot of Frank Zappa bootlegs got out, stuff like that. This is a Trademark of Quality bootleg. Trademark of Quality was the first company to really start putting out bootlegs at a professional, like high quality type of bootleg. This is one that they put out on colored vinyl, brilliant blue vinyl. And it's a stamped cover, so they had these stamps that look like that. for those. I bought that one out in Santa Fe last year. I found it at a record store there. This is another one I wanted to show you. You never see them in this good shape. This one's mint. So they would have a nice sticker on there, trademark quality sticker. This one's still in the shrink, but it has the stamped Led Zeppelin going to California. They sometimes would have like a drawing or painting or something of a cover that they would put in the back like that. And then this one's got colored vinyl. It's got green vinyl, and it's got, I don't want to touch these records. This is blue vinyl. This one's extremely valuable. The early ones like this that have colored vinyl are really, really valuable. This one's probably, if I had to imagine, because of the shape it's in, it's probably worth at least $300. So the stone one's probably not worth that much. But anyways, so a lot of people ask me also, you know, how did they get these recordings? Well, sometimes people would kind of, the sound guy would plug into the soundboard and pull a recording that way. That was very risky because they were on high alert. Some bands like Led Zeppelin really were looking for people with recorders and stuff. I mean, I've heard stories about people getting caught with recorders and getting drug out in the back alley and their recorder getting busted and then getting beat half to death by security. You know, I've heard a lot of stuff like that happen, but most bootlegs are audience recordings. There's two types of recordings: audience and soundboard. Soundboard is what everyone looks for because it's the best quality. It's when people just plugged in and recorded. Audience recordings is when someone came in with a recorder and they could have been in the nosebleeds recording it and it sounded like crap, or they could be at the front of the stage and it actually sound pretty good. I wanted to share this story with you. This one's it's called "Listen to This, Eddie." This is Led Zeppelin, 1977. This is in California. This guy, his name was Mike Miller, and he was the best bootlegger who ever lived. He made a bootleg device out of a wheelchair. He put a right and left microphone in the arms of his wheelchair and then put the recorder underneath. And so he could come, normally the staff at the venue would wheel him right out to the front, that he could get a perfect recording in stereo. And his bootlegs are the most incredible audience recordings you've ever heard. I would almost prefer some of them to soundboard. They're so good because they're stereo, because they just feel more raw. This one is excellent. Bootlegs get kind of a bad rap because of the bad sound quality sometimes, but that one's really good. And so I want to show you a lot of people ask me, well, do they still make bootlegs? Is that still a thing? Yes, they still make bootlegs. This is one from a few years ago. It's called Pink Floyd, Dragged Down by the Stone. This is a beautiful bootleg. This is 1975 in Nassau. I'll show you the colored vinyl that came with this one. This is a 3 LP, so it's got that blue vinyl. It's got the pink, and then that. Only 100 of these were made, and so this is just an absolute stunning bootleg and a really good sound quality. And that's, you know, an old recording that somebody had the tapes for, and they recently found them. Another type of bootleg is studio albums were actually bootlegs. So this, maybe around the same time I found that Led Zeppelin bootleg, I found this one. This is a Doors self-titled. It kind of baffled me. I'd never seen anything like it because this is like paper. It looks like somebody made this with a copy machine. And then the record, it says The Doors, D-I-O-O-R-S, Happy Record Company. It's a white label of somebody, I don't know how the heck they would have made this, but Happy Record Company is what that says. And that is a Doors self-titled. Now what this is, there's lots of different ways people made bootlegs. Like I said, I don't know why they would spell The Doors like that. Maybe because they were trying to evade and they couldn't get in trouble if it wasn't spelled right. I don't know. Bootlegs are crazy. There's 1,000 different things to look for with bootlegs. But with this one, what it probably was somebody had a record cutter in their basement and they were cranking these out. So I've seen a few other Happy Record Company records, and it was this very small operation. This guy probably had a record cutter in his basement and was just making them and selling them around town for cheaper than, you know, he probably sold them for half the price you could buy them at the store, and that's why people bought them. So that's studio bootlegs. And then it would go all the way up to, you know, with trademark quality, they probably knew somebody that worked at a record plant or owned a record plant and let them go in and press them in mass quantities. This is a new bootleg. This is Jay-Z Unplugged. This album is extremely hard to find an original press of. They didn't come out with a lot of them, and they're just expensive when you find them all and stuff. But my friend, I have a good buddy that kind of dabbles in this sort of thing, and he got some of these in his shop, and this is a bootleg. Sounds amazing, great sound quality. It comes on colored vinyl. This is when Jay-Z was back by the Roots. They did Unplugged, but this is a great album. I love it. But it's just one I could never find, and this I'm okay with having a bootleg, and it's colored vinyl. It's really neat, and they only come out with a limited supply of them, so really cool. I mean, he credits everything. It's got the whole back cover, everything. You would never know it's a bootleg unless you knew. So that's just kind of a short explanation. I think another question I get is, isn't it illegal? Why do you have bootlegs? So it is illegal to make bootlegs. As far as I know, this is the way I understand the law. I may be off on this, but I don't think I am. It's illegal to make bootlegs. So if you were the one that getting the recording and taking them and putting them on vinyl or CD or cassette tape or whatever, and distributing them and making money, profiting off of the recordings without the permission of the band, that is illegal. But if you're one collecting the materials, getting these now, I mean, this is long after. If you're the one that are procuring these, that's not illegal. It's just like if you have the whole illegal file sharing on your computer. It's not illegal to download the music. It's illegal to share the music. So that's how it goes. If you're the ones that are creating the bootlegs and selling them, that is illegal. Like if I sold you guys one of these bootlegs, it wouldn't be illegal because I didn't make them. So that's how I understand the rule. This is my favorite bootleg. I thought I would show this. This is Led Zeppelin Electric Magic. This is one that was made, I believe, in like 2010. There's only 250 made, and this is number 16 of 250 on this beautiful color vinyl. That's my favorite one that I have. And so I could go for hours talking about bootlegs. I'm a big time bootleg collector. It's one of my favorite things to collect because they're just so unique. The story behind each one's unique. It's a very, very fun thing to collect. But I'll stop here. If you guys have any more questions about bootlegs, feel free to send me a comment, email, whatever. I can answer those questions. I've got bootlegs from every band you can imagine. This is a popular one here from the Grateful Dead. It's a 3 LP. It's Capitol Theater 1978. That's another example. Grateful Dead, actually, they gave their fans permission to make bootlegs. They said it was okay because they wanted their music spread out and they weren't greedy. So anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, hit the subscribe button, and my next video is going to be my Led Zeppelin bootleg collection. I've got 80 Led Zeppelin bootlegs. I'm going to show you guys all of them and explain the history behind them. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, send me a comment. Hope you guys have a good day. See ya.